Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Padawan Unlimited, a Star Wars Unlimited trading card game podcast, YouTube channel, and a bunch of other social media platforms. I am your host, Gil, and today I am joined by two members of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Rob and Corey. How you guys doing?
Oh, thank you.
Hello there.
Have you seen that movie?
I was trying to do Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
That terrible movie that came out.
I thought it was going to be League of Evil.
League of Evil? No, we're good vibes here. That's
we're
always the
extraordinary
goal.
Gentlemen.
Yeah,
come on.
We are extraordinary.
Extraordinary gentlemen. Okay, before we get into the segments, I got some logistical news. The first one I want to shout out is one of our members of our Discord. Their daughter had a birthday today. So happy birthday, Chloe.
Yay.
Happy sixth birthday,
Chloe.
Congratulations to you.
Happy birthday.
Six is a great age to be. I remember being 6 and going to being in first grade. So much fun. And have your parent buy you a lot of swoop packs.
Yeah. I remember being 6 and going to my first PQ. I mean, you know.
Dude, there are some kids in the PQs that like really slay, like do really well.
I know,
like,
I know.
It's wild. Okay, so anyway, happy birthday, Chloe. Congratulations on, and hope you had an amazing birthday, and you had amazing tasty cake. Another couple logistics news. Just as I got some feedback the other day from a young woman, not Chloe. And she mentioned how when she was listening to the podcast, she actually got lost, and it was a little intimidating in that like they had to they stopped listening, and then they felt like they had to do research before they could listen to the podcast. So that is interesting feedback. Thank you for that, Erica. I appreciate that, and we will do a better job of like trying to break stuff down, not getting too nuanced, and being a little bit more purposeful. And maybe we might do like a mid-episode like newbie section, let's go, let's revamp it, so in terms of like, let's talk about like, what does this mean, how do you play this game? I think that's really great feedback, because we want to keep growing the community, and it was from a demographic that isn't necessarily representative of the super majority of Star Wars Unlimited right now, so would love to grow the community in that way.
Yeah, that's great feedback, because I know sometimes when I'm listening to podcasts, I'll listen to something and I'll get lost also, and then I'm like, I lose the conversation of what's happening. I'm like, what are they talking about? What's going on here? And so I definitely don't want anyone to feel like they have to do homework. That is the opposite of what we're trying to cultivate here.
Yeah,
which is funny, because like when that happens to me, I'm like, ooh, homework. I get to like go. Let me find out about this, and I have to do like an internet deep dive on something. But that's just the way my brain works.
Yeah, everyone learns a little bit differently, and some people are intimidated by other things that other people aren't. So, great feedback. We'll take care of that in the future, or try to do a better job, right? Because we're trying to grow the community, one podcast, one post at a time. And also, another thing, we also have a variety of socials. So another member, another person reached out to me, and they said they didn't realize I had an Instagram, or that we have an Instagram. So just as a reminder, if anyone's interested,
you can see our beautiful mugs.
It's different content in each of these pieces. So Corey runs the Blue Sky account, which is like the new Twitter or whatever, or X. So he runs that account. I run the Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and YouTube's. So YouTube is very obvious. Just search for Padawan Unlimited. But the Instagram actually has different content. It's much more clippy. So like, if you want to see just pack rips, for example, or like me with, or like pack openings at like a concert, which I've literally done on the Instagram. Like, you just want to see different content, or me like doing different product reviews, like my upside down binder that I paid for. Check that out if you're, again, so inclined. Not necessarily a mandatory thing. And then also, logistically speaking, we are now in the 300 to 400 average listener range, which is a huge milestone, because we started off at last year, like a little over a year ago. We started off with like 2 listeners. A couple months ago, we were floating in the 1 to 200 range. Then last month or so, we were 2 to 3. Now we've broken consistently the 3 to 400 range of active listeners. That's huge. Thank you guys so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Again, as you can tell, love the feedback and always want to improve, right? Like, this content's for you.
Definitely.
We don't charge for it, there's ads now, but you know what that pays for? That pays for shipping for stuff for y'all. So
doesn't even pay for hosting of the podcast.
yeah, we're close. We're like really close. But speaking of shipping, episode 59 is when we started the month of like giveaways after Galactic Championships. So check out episode 59. We had a giveaway sponsored by generously donated by Tetra at the Boston Networks for Poe Dameron Showcase. Check out that episode. Check out the links there. Thank you again, Tetra, if you were listening. Really appreciate you, brother, as always. We have a couple other giveaways.
See him this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to see him this weekend, probably. We have a giveaway the next week, which was the raffle entry, which was going to be the pin, cunning pin, and VIP. It's going to be the VIP pin, Galactic Championship VIP pin. The week after that, we have a cunning pin and then like a token, a GC token, like in its original packaging. And this week, closing out the 4 weekends, the 4 weeks of giveaways, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. What do you guys think? So I got a package today. We'll talk about it later. But I got a package that gave me it was all my stuff from Milan. So I finally got it like 5 months later, which we'll go into we'll talk about it in the collection segment. But I got an extra Obi-Wan card, the extra promo Obi-Wan card. Right?
Nice.
I got the Sector Qualifier pin. Right? I got some mats and so what do you think? Should we give away an Obi-Wan card, promo card? Should we give away the token? Should we give away I also have an extra Mandalorian Global Galactic Championship promo card to give away. I could potentially give away, or a Galactic Championship silver pack.
Ooh.
What do you? I feel like maybe the pin would.
I mean, what the listeners might say.
I don't know. Like, what do you guys think they would want it? The group would.
I mean, if you put up a poll, I think the silver pack.
Silver pack's gonna
top.
take it.
Silver pack would win the entire. Not more than the Obi-Wan. Like,
yeah.
Really, you think so?
I mean, the Obi-Wan is close, but I think the
there's something about the unknown. Also, it's like it's
Yep.
a pack. I get to rip it open, see what we get. Those Galactic cards are gorgeous, and I can only get them at Galactics, right? So it's like pretty neat. But the Obi-Wan's also awesome too, is because that's also
these are like $60 cards,
exclusive.
50 to $60 cards. So I was wondering, like, I think the packs are technically worth more, but like this is definite value versus whatever. Okay, so.
But the unopened value is more.
I think so let's do we'll do a silver pack. So for this week, closing it out, give away a Galactic Championship silver pack to one lucky winner. Hopefully you can like take pictures or like take a video of you opening it so we could all enjoy it with you and share it with us. But that's it.
And let us know when you pull that
Let
Vader.
us know when if you pull that Vader. Chef's kiss. I hope you share that with the world. Okay.
Please, yes, let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been vamping for a long time. A lot of logistics, but there's a lot of good news. This is great. So let's get into the segments. Corey, starting off with the collection scene. What you got for us?
Yeah, sure. Well, as far as what I've obtained, I have not obtained them yet, but I have negotiated a acquisition of a serialized Sabine's Masterpiece, a serialized Malik, and a Kanan Showcase, all from the same person.
What?
So hopefully the plan is to get those this weekend.
What kind of 10-way trade did you? That's amazing.
So it's going to be pretty exciting to get that. Hopefully I can show you guys next week. But that I met the gentleman at the PQ, this past weekend in New York, and we were just discussing stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I have these, and I'm trying to get rid of them." I was like, "Oh, you don't say."
Oh my god.
And so
I happen to be trying to get them.
So yes, I'm looking forward to getting acquiring those pieces and getting to share them with you guys. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I know, Gil, you said you've gotten all your Milan stuff. What else was part of that?
So I got that stuff, and then I also finally got 3 mats. So I got. My sound's gonna be a little janky, but like I got the Poe Dameron participant mat,
which you could have gotten at Galactic.
Which could have gotten Galactic. I got the Scramble TIE Fighter mat.
Oh, that's such a cool mat. I love that mat. Yeah.
And then I got
the Scramble Tire is that close to Shield Gate.
No, close to Shield Gate's the other one.
I think this one was only. I think this was. I don't know if this was only sector or like Milan or whatever. But then I also got my Cody Commander Cody Matt.
Yes, Cody.
So I'm
I
happy
will
with
say
it.
that is my kid's favorite character.
Cody, Commander Cody's dope. I mean,
Yep.
your kid sounds like
Give
a brilliant
everything
child.
overwhelm. Let's go.
So
Despite the fact that he's an utter traitor, but whatever.
no, he is a traitor. That's true. But
Yeah.
it's beyond his control.
It depends on
He's
your viewpoint.
brainwashed. He's brainwashed.
So I got a showcase yesterday, right?
Yeah, you did.
More showcases.
I traded it. I traded a with Rob actually.
Yeah. It was,
Oh, hey now. What?
a GI Grand Inquisitor silver pack card for Third Sister showcase.
Ah, Third Sister.
Yeah, man,
Nice.
I love it. I'm happy. I'm like, I just want the showcases. At the end of the day, like
I played a Riva in the PQ over the past weekend.
How was it? How was that matchup? Crazy.
It was. I mean, I took it, of course.
Oh, all right.
was it
good.
the
Good.
blue version?
No, it was yellow red.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of people doing yellow red. Okay. Ooh, which by the way, for me also this weekend, next week there's gonna be a lot of
This is
stuff to
good.
show. We'll talk about it then.
Hopefully he's listening. Hopefully he's listening because he was a cool guy. So.
Yeah, cool.
He was in like a Han Solo cosplay in a way.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's cool. Han Solo cosplay. That's dope.
Oh.
So a lot of transactions going on, and we've been talking about it for the past couple weeks, right? We talking about like get your showcases, trading for showcases, and stuff like that. But let's do a little bit deeper dive. So I think for this segment, especially ever since I started the Instagram and this this podcast and stuff, the algorithms have hit me with so much like Pokemon stuff, like buy Pokemon.
Oh yeah, me too.
Grade, grade cards, do all this stuff. Like I have no idea. Like I was chatting in the Discord, like what's the best one? Maybe I'll do a video series on like Beckett, Tag, whatever, right? And I want to talk about like how do you negotiate? How do you obtain value? Like how do you determine?
I'm sorry, when you said Tag and Beckett, what are you talking about specifically?
So you're right. That's a great point.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Apparently, these are all like card grading companies. There's like a handful of them. There's ones that are really popular, which I think is one of the companies like called Beckett something. There's like the card grading company, CGC, I think that was called. There's Tag, which is a relatively newer entry into the playing. And what's the other? There's a couple.
PSA.
PSA
is the big one.
Yeah. PSA.
You can go to GameStop and they give them your cards, then they'll send them to PSA.
And ideally, the what you would hope is that your grading gives you more value with the card. So like you want like that perfect 10 because apparently if it's a 9, sometimes it gets worth less. But like the rating scale for most, I think almost all of them is like 1 through 10. They go through like some type of criteria. Some companies are more transparent than others, and or transparent and or popular. And then ideally your cards go from raw, which is like I have the card in my hand, to now it's graded and it's in this piece of plastic that like protects it, hard plastic that like protects it, and then gives a grade and details or whatever, right? So that's like one component of like just like the investment collecting thing of it all, protecting it. But there's also the aspects of like people trade these or trade cards just in general. Like there's like a lot of different components. So let's break that down. Let's talk about like trading for now, and then how do you derive the most value from you guys' experience? How do you derive the most value from your trades, or equal value, or whatever?
Or do you?
Or do you?
Yeah.
You know, like
do you?
how do you guys do that? If you've done that, I actually don't know.
I mean, trading is great. Like I did the trade we talked about last week. I did the trade through Facebook Marketplace, and they have a whole not marketplace, but they have the whole trade buy sell group in Facebook for Star Wars. And so everybody in that group is looking to either sell, buy, or trade. And so there's a lot of people are experiencing it and a lot of people or not. But what I try to look for and what I try to do is I'm looking for this, or if someone's trying to get rid of something, I want that, and I'll send them a message and just say, hey, like, what are you looking for? How can I help you get what you're looking for? Because if it's close in value, I do not mind being on the the lower end of that deal, for sure. Because I want to just get the cards that I want. So I'm not using something, I'm not gonna worry about a few dollars here or there, right? So obviously you want to be able to get that equal value as close as possible. But if it's close and it's just a couple dollars here or there, it's not a big deal. I'll just definitely, absolutely, we'll get this done.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like for me, because I'm not really like a heavy collector, what I'm looking to do is kind of trade for card. I'm looking for like specific cards. So actually, I have a little bit of a story about this. So at Galactics, because I couldn't pull a Vader to save my life, despite opening however many packs, silver
20
packs I opened.
packs or something crazy.
Yeah, I opened a stupid number. I opened like I think I opened over 10. I opened like 13 or
I know
14.
you bought like 10 packs at the place. Not
Yeah,
all at
so
once, but like, I know you spent
yeah, so I
a good
opened like
amount.
I think I opened like 13 silver packs in total. Didn't pull a single Vader.
Oh, rough.
So what I ended up doing was I went to they had a couple like local well, not local, but they had like some trading
Vendors.
vendors who bought and sold cards. So if you've never done this before, you can buy and sell in bulk, and a lot of times what they will do is if you're looking for just cash, you're probably going to get about 60% of the value of the card, plus or minus. Depending on it depends on the place, and it depends on like how
A
much
lot of
they're
places
looking
are
for.
much lower than that.
Yeah, it depends. It's like I've seen like anywhere from 40 to 60. And again, it depends on the card. Like so, certain
Mhm.
cards, if they're in high demand, you'll get higher percentages on them.
Right. How fast can they turn that around? Because
Exactly.
they don't want stuff sitting
Yeah.
around.
So so
Um,
you're trading in cards. You're trying to get the most value from a vendor in terms of return, like
Yep.
from market price, which is the market price could be dictated by a variety of factors, whether that be a website or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Usually SWODB or not SWODB, sorry,
TCG player
TCG player
in the United States,
is a in the
because
United States is like a good reference point, because they just a lot of traffic goes through there, so the data is fairly consistent. But the other thing that you can do is if you go to these vendors, oftentimes you can trade for store credit. And store credit will be a higher percentage because you're basically just trading your cards for cards that they have in their stock. So what I ended up doing was, because I couldn't pull the Vaders, I went to a vendor. They had the Vaders on hand. I said, "All right, look, I'm looking to pick up 3 of these." I had to pay through the nose for them, but I didn't actually pay any dollars for them. I just traded cards that were basically just kind of sitting in my binder,
yeah.
and was able to get the credit that I needed to get those 3, plus actually a little bit more because I took it in store credit.
Okay.
And then
so that's
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah.
So like I didn't know about store credit until literally today. Like shortly before you talked about it, like I was like, again, I keep getting slammed by Instagram, like in my Instagram, because I'm doing it for the Padawan Unlimited stuff. I keep getting slammed by like Pokemon videos and stuff, and like someone's like, oh, they traded this for store credit. I was like, or they'll give you cash, like give you part cash, part store credit, or whatever. I was like, oh, huh, yeah, duh, you could totally get store credit. That's cool if you're just wanting just cards back, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that a lot of players will do is they use it to kind of like fund the habit, so to speak. So like they'll just trade cards that are sitting in their binder to a store who's looking to resell them, and they'll say, "Hey, I'll give you this in store credit," and they just have a balance at the store. So then when you go to buy punks or go to play in a weekly play event or whatever it is, you can just draw against that credit that's at the store,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to pay out.
But not every store does this. You have to go to a store that trade deals in cards or a vendor that deals in cards, and they have to be interested in Star Wars Limited specifically. If you're looking in for Star Wars cards, yeah, fair. Okay, but so this is how you do it with vendors. Like, is there like a negotiating tactic? Like, do they like? Is there flexibility usually with vendors, or like?
There can be. It depends. Like, if the cards that you're selling are not in high demand, you don't have like a lot of leverage with it. So usually if you're getting, again, somewhere between 40 and 60% cash value for the cards, that's probably the best you're going to do.
I don't think I could ever.
In a lot of cases.
I don't think I could ever stomach that. Like, well, like, I mean, I think you guys mentioned that like if you really want a card and you're trading with somebody, you don't mind you going down in quote unquote value. Like if the card is worth 200, you're like, or your card is worth 200, theirs worth 190. You'll take the $10 loss. I'm the same way. I don't mind if it's like a trade specifically. Like if I'm losing value in that. Because at the end, it's a trade. Like you're just doing it for cards. For the
There's value that's monetary, and there's also value that's
Oh,
like inherent
oh
to
yeah,
you.
that's like you're building a relationship with somebody. Like I
Right.
Correct.
have bought and traded so many cards from our locals, and even between you two, that like I feel like I bought a lot of goodwill, so that if there is a like if it goes the other way,
slight difference,
I don't
yeah.
mind doing that as well, and you're cutting some cash out of the deal just to make it happen, because like I'm gonna keep going back, right?
Mhm.
So you're always like, essentially what's happening is you're building a relationship, which
Yeah.
I think is cool. Yeah.
The,
Yeah, and that
honestly,
can happen with vendors as well. Like if you
It's
have a
true.
card store or if you have a local that you go to frequently and you start, trading in your cards to them constantly, you
They
get to
often
know
give
the
you better.
owners, you get to know the employees and things. Yeah, they'll start helping you out as well. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we're not taking this now, but maybe next, like I've seen people like wait to like trade things in because they will get more value when something else happens or vice
Yeah.
versa. And they'll sometimes give you advice on that too. Be like, hey, this is not
Mhm.
valued right now, but maybe
In a set or two, it might be.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is that like I've also seen it where like, hey, listen, like we'll throw you this, or they'll throw you like random packs. They'll throw you like, once you build that relationship,
Mhm.
there is sort of a like like you say, a goodwill being built
They'll
up.
take
Now,
care of you, right?
yeah, exactly. Now, for this particular transaction, I was just knew I was going to be trying to offload cards at some point, thinking that I was probably going to be buying something, or like trying to trade for something with a vendor along the way. And because it was, for me, it was, there's a limited quantity of these cards. They're probably only going to go up in value. And you're like, again, Galactics, you're only going to get them this one time. So, and my chase was the Vaders. So it was
Yeah.
like, all right, I was willing to do that, to trade things for it. Now I traded
That's the value there, yeah.
So
I traded a bunch of stuff,
yeah.
and I got decent value on like the big items that I was looking to trade away.
So like non-vendor stuff, right? Let's say you're just doing it to like another person, you're trying to buy or sell a card or
Mhm.
whatever. I didn't know this, right? Until well into like a couple months, not even a couple months, like way into the game. That when you're trying to sell a card, you look up the price. Like you have to think about the markup, right? At like TCG Player for the United States specifically is where people like measure their cards, right? Against how much the market's going to demand. But there's a surcharge there as well. Like it's an additional like fee for sellers up there. So I didn't know, which bothers me, because like I like to treat people with honor, like when
Yeah.
it comes to like deals. I didn't know the standard percentage down is 15%, right? Like that's roughly like, so like whatever's market value for on TCG Player or lowest price there, minus 15% is like the standard. Someone told me when I was selling cards, and I sold them a lot, it was 20. And I
Yeah.
I traded a lot of stuff. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. All right, fine, 20. I didn't. To be fair, I didn't do my research, which you should always do. But for anyone out there like who is new to this, or like again, first TCG, maybe you have a lot of bulk of like legendaries, rares, or whatever, and you're trying to sell some cards. In the United States specifically, it's 15%. I get it. If I'm wrong, correct me. But I've learned that like a lot of people keep telling me like, I'll go at whatever market price minus 15. What do you guys think about
Yeah,
that?
that's about right. I've sold some stuff here and there, and like eBay charges you constantly, like in PayPal, whatever has their fees. Like there's always fees. So the price that you see, um, you have to consider the seller is eating those fees as well. So that's where when you're doing something, person to person without that third party, because that third party is going to try to get their piece as well.
Yeah.
You definitely want to go down. 20% is a little high, I think. You can be generous and just be like, I want to offload things. I'm gonna go 20% under TCG, but that's if you're,
Yeah,
offering that,
I will.
I would say.
Yeah.
Whereas someone says, "Oh, this is the standard. Everybody does it." That's a little disingenuous.
It was
I would
disingenuous,
say,
and I
I would say 10 to 15 is where you're probably in the safe zone.
which means that like if you're looking for the most value in terms of like your cards, you're gonna want to go to the private markets, which is like,
Yes,
so if you said there's
definitely.
like a couple Facebook groups, if you have
Mhm.
Facebook, there's also the Discords, right? Most
Indeed.
Discords have, especially the main Star Wars Unlimited Discord, has a trading space of some sort where people post their stuff, and you could get the most value, and then you cut out the middleman. You might have to deal with shipping, cost or whatever. So I don't know. Is there any other places where you guys like think about like where people can like get decent trades without having to worry about fees?
For me, it's locals.
Just
Like
locals.
that's like if unless I'm at a con and I'm going to a vendor to sell stuff, which again I don't really like doing. Again, for me, this was something that like I knew I was probably gonna have to do if I wanted to get certain cards. So I was willing to kind of take that hit in order to get what I was looking for. But outside of that, I'd rather just trade in person because then you don't have to pay, like you said, you don't have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
You're doing person to person, you're building those relationships, and you're getting relatively close to the value of your cards.
You know what I'll do. I've done this for some people. Like, if you don't have singles in your area, singles is in cards. Okay, guys, get your heads out of the get your heads out of the gutter. If you don't have singles in your
We need
area,
Tinder for cards or something.
we got some hot singles.
Oh
to get
my
rid
gosh. I will procure some for you and ship them to you for at cost. And then just pay for like the shipping, which is usually like $2. Like it's like especially if it's like two card, like 1 or 2 cards, it's like a stamp, a sleeve,
and an envelope.
Like that's like $1.50. So like $2, I'll cover the shipping. So again, but you're my friend, you know what I'm saying? So making relationships definitely key in terms of deriving the most value. So let's go into the last thing because we've been talking about this for a while. So the biggest sale that I've seen for something, well, not biggest, but like a pretty big sale. I think it actually is the biggest I've ever seen so far. Like posted anyway, because I'm sure something's more. But an opened box of those lightsabers. Out of
it wasn't even complete, right?
I think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was complete. Out of Singapore or something like that. Sold for like almost $2,500. Wild.
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't complete, like opened, okay, but like incomplete.
Yeah, which is crazy because there was one other sale. It was for 1.5K, so that makes you think like, wow, that guy made out like a bandit. On eBay.
I saw one on eBay.
Yeah.
For 1.5, and that was sealed. It wasn't even open.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's an indication of where we're going to be?
No.
Well, I mean, look, you know my thoughts on those cards. It was 1 of 64. Like, again,
so I will give you some information. At the PQ, I was talking to one of the judges because we were just hanging out and just chilling, and he had mentioned because I was like, oh, I saw you at Galactics. How was that? And we just talked about Galactic and stuff, and he was like talking about some of the benefits the judges got, and one of them was they got a whole bunch of silver packs and things like that. But he said there were multiple sealed sabers because they needed extra just in case, right? And he said there were a lot of, in case of them like losing them or them getting ruined or whatever. Yeah. And so he said there are a lot more than 64 in the world right now. And one of the judges apparently got a hold of one of those.
How? Okay. You know what? I'm not going to speculate because that is wild information. Okay. So if you're trying to invest in the sabers, like
there are more, potentially more than 64. And I assume there would be, because like, if they have printing errors or something, like you're going to have them. So, but yeah, I don't think it's going to devalue them just because there's like
I don't think that devalues them either. But still, like, okay, if it's 100 of them, still,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
yeah.
It's such a limited quantity, and I imagine they're not reprinting them. And even if they did reprint the sabers, it's not going to be the 2025 Galactic Championship ones. Yeah, so
one-time deal.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's really never going to be a greater quantity than what's in the market right now. Yeah. So they're only going up.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been talking about this for a while. So let's move on to the next segment, which is meta, which we're going to talk about the sector qualifier or regional qualifier news and just our reaction to that because it's interesting stuff. Rob, you take first cut, man. How do you feel?
So I was happy to see that the closest sector to us is going to be in Philadelphia, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump for all of us. Although I was surprised to see that it's going to be limited, so it's going to be a sealed tournament. Which there was one of those
Rochester,
recently,
New York, 2 weeks ago.
Rochester. Yeah. So really, really interesting that it's not going to be a premiere. This is the first event of this size that is, or this like tier that is going to be non-premiere. I think.
So
right?
let's talk about it. You said tier. So real quickly, the sector and regional qualifiers are the competitive level of play for Star Wars Unlimited trading card game. There are two levels. There is the casual play, and then there's the competitive play. Casual play includes a drafting, store showdown, and constructed events on a weekly basis for the stores. In the competitive level, and there's their own pricing for that. In the competitive level, the planetary qualifier is the lowest level competitive tournament. It's up to 100, usually up to 128 players, can range between like 6 to 128, right? And that is still done at a store, and they're all over the world. The above that is a sector qualifier, which can be like 1,000 people, right? And that's the type of event, and that's going to be very limited for this set. There's, like you said, 3, or there's only going to be like 3 for this like next couple months. And then there's regional qualifiers, which is above that. And then after regional qualifier, there is a galactic championship, which is there's one a year. So that's the tiers, and each one gets supposed to be progressively more difficult with different pricing and everything like that. So go ahead, Rob. Talk about.
Well, so from my understanding, there's going to be 3 sectors, 1 regional for each set.
Yeah, for now, I guess.
For now, that's
Yeah. So I mean, per set is interesting because previous to this, we only had really one set of sectors. There were 2 in the U.S. and then 1 regional in the U.S. Prior to Galactics, and that was partially because Season 0 they were still kind of working out the logistics and rolling it out. So the fact that there's going to be more of these now is very interesting. But again, the fact that it's a limited event is really what's got me kind of intrigued.
One of the 3 sectors is a limited.
Yeah.
Event.
And of course it's the one that's closest.
Yeah, one is in Portland. Then it's followed by the one in Philly.
Munich. Oh, sorry.
Philly.
Yep, I didn't realize you're going.
Yeah, one's in Philly. This at the same time the Philly tournament is the regional qualifier in Spain. And then 2 weeks after that is 1 or 2 weeks after that is the sector qualifier in Germany. So it's also interesting that the regional qualifier is exactly the same time as another sector qualifier.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
and I get it because like. The regional's doing
for Europe.
Well, I mean, the regional's doing both sealed and premiere, right? They're doing both of them, from my understanding. Where the one that's running at the same time is just a sealed limited event. So it's just unfortunate if you're on the East Coast and you want to go to a sector that's close and go to regionals, you can't do it. So
yeah, because the last time they did the regional qualifier, there was one per region. There was one in the United States, and then there was one in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And now there's only one in Europe. Maybe they'll rotate to the US, next time.
I'm assuming that they'll have a regional in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't an announcement for a regional in the US, but I mean, it's interesting. I mean, again, the last time they did these, the sectors were basically on the coasts, right? It was one in it was Denver, right? It was Colorado.
Yeah,
that's not.
And then the other one was in Richmond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like again, Colorado's like not exactly the coast, but it's
there's one on the west side and one on the east side.
Yeah, exactly. It's far enough west and then there's far enough east.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that I would say that the rotation is because, and this is my logic, could be wrong, but like Galactics was just the United States, so all these Europeans had to fly over, for that, and so like now it's their turn to get their like major tournament event in Europe, and then they'll rotate back and forth and back and forth. I mean, that's what I'm gonna assume. I could be wrong.
I'm there with you too, Gail, because I think.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to have a big event in July, and then we'll have a big event in, when is, totally forgot the dates.
It's October.
October, right?
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
the regional.
12, is that right?
10 to 12, 10 to 12, because 11 to 12 is the Philly one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's interesting. I mean, but I think the other thing that was really kind of interesting is that they're doing surprising, very similar in nature to Galactics. So there are the return of silver and black packs for the sectors and the regionals, right? Like,
Yes.
if I'm not
So
mistaken.
so for sector qualifiers, you're getting silver packs, that are stamped with stamped with sector qualifier, and then you're getting black packs for the regional qualifiers.
Yep.
Yeah, and the cards have not been revealed yet, so we'll see what they look like.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And I think the fact that they didn't reveal them tells me that at least some of these are probably going to be from set 6, or that would be my guess anyway.
Maybe
Because if they because there's been no spoilers for set 6 yet. It's far enough off that it'll be through when they get closer to it and they start to try to drive up the hype for the sectors and the regionals. We'll start to see. We'll have had some of the previews for set 6 coming out, and that could be a way for them to reveal new cards
before.
Yeah,
Seekers of Power comes out though. So, and I mean, we do have the droids too.
Yeah, so. I mean, the droids are there, and it's not like I mean, when you look at like the now granted at Galactics we had just gotten Legends of Force, but the cards from the silver packs at Galactics spanned everything from the most recent set to, I think it was, they went all the way back to set 1. So yeah, some of them, right? The black packs had the Falcon.
My guess is that they stick with this. That's the sets that are out there now, because they're going to have more regionals, so they could potentially have other silver and black packs as well. But we'll see.
I mean, it can go either way, because at the end of the day, like the next regional, right, is going to be when the sets are released, so why not print out the cards now, kind of deal. So who knows? Right. But I think it's going to be interesting because nothing's been, at least before we get to prizing, like the meta, right? Force throw hasn't been banned. I think that we talked about, like, the meta seems to be pretty healthy, and I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be pretty stable. Like, I think the cards are gonna be pretty stable, unless something dramatically changes. Like, what we have is what we have, and you have to prepare for those. Like, they're coming quick. Like, these events are coming really quick.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
2 months essentially.
And how do you even like train for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's really you can't even like the like, especially for
the limited
stuff. It's just like you got to buy a box and play with your friends and just like, all right, let's do some drafts. Let's see. Hopefully,
limited is gonna be interesting. I do think with limited, because I think limited is a lot of fun. It is very luck dependent, because you don't get a bomb like Anakin or something like that. It's gonna be more difficult for you to win. But I do think the skill level is so much higher. In limited, because for one, you need to be able to find those synergies in cards that you have. How are you going to build that deck and make it the best deck you can with what you're given? And then when you get to Top Cut, if you get to Top Cut, you're drafting, right? So now you're doing a draft where there's a whole nother level of, do I hate draft here because I know the leaders I'm seeing? Do I do what's best just for me because I want to build the best deck that I can make, but it might not be good because there's other leaders that are going to, counter that. So I think it's fascinating, and I'm super excited for a limited.
I like, honestly, I kind of just like, if I'm not participating in that, like, I would be watching a stream of that, like, just to see what players do. Like, and the other thing is, like, I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna, like, how do they stream that? Because, like, are they just gonna have like what everybody has in their hand every turn? Like, you're going to see the cards that they have in their hand every turn. That's just going to be like, I'm trying to think of the logistics of this, but to me, that's wild. It's like, you sit there and you think about it, it's like, what do you keep? What do you, like you say, like what do I hate draft away from somebody else?
They're going to have like a professional, like, poker production company come in to do, like, seriously, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like the
whole cards.
Like, how are you going to know if someone's not going to cheat? You know what I mean? Like, you have to watch them like a hawk, but like a person, well, I mean, bending cards is going to be tough to try to get away with it, right? But like, I mean, with sealed, with like 1,000 people in a room, like, potential, well, maybe not 1,000, maybe like 400, 500, like, that's like a logistical nightmare to track, right? Well, am I crazy?
Sealed, the way that my understanding is, the way that the sealed events work is that you open your packs in front of another player. So you pair with like, before anything, like pairings for the round, you're just paired with another player who you sit down, you open the packs, and they record everything that you open in your sealed pack. All 6 of them. And then there's a record of that, and then the record is then turned into the judges. They have a record of what should be in your deck or what can potentially be in your deck. And then also, I hadn't even really thought about this, but normally in sealed, you're in everything that you draft is part of your sideboard. At least at like the pre-release events, it has been. So I don't know because I haven't looked at the rules for this, but is that the case for
my understanding? It's like
it's the same.
You can switch you can't switch your base,
but you can basically switch your entire deck if you so chose, or
during can you switch your base
in between matches?
You can switch bases. I'm sorry, but you can't like during the match. Like you can't.
You have to stick with it for the entire like 3 games. Like you have to stick with that same deck. You can't swap out like your leader or base mid match, like for game 2, for example.
But you can't swap out cards.
You can't swap out cards. You should be able to have multiples of more than 3, right?
You can have 15 porgs if you want.
Porg supremacy.
Porg supremacy with a Kanan.
15 porgs, 15 curious flocks. That's all you need.
Oh my god. I think this is gonna be interesting. I know there's some disappointment in that like there's only one regional qualifier, right? Out there.
Yeah.
Especially since this
currently.
I mean, again, if this is the standard, right, for each set going forward, I know there's some disappointment in that, and like because some people don't like limited, especially with this set because it's very force heavy. Like if you draw an Anakin, if you draw like a good card, if you draw Talzin and protect the pod and drain essence and like Talzin's assassin, like if you draw those, if you have those cards and it's possible to get that, like you're winning a lot, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I know
creating power.
Yeah, I know that's sad for some people, so they want to do constructed, so there's no option to do that, which is unfortunate. But again, I think they're testing stuff out. We'll see what happens, right?
Well, and what they've said though, Gil, is that they want the Galactics to be a representation of being like skilled in all aspects of the game, and so winning like. You won a limited PQ, you're skilled in that aspect of it. And what makes me curious is there going to be some level of that at the next Galactics? Like, is, day 2, first round going to be limited? And
basically when these like limited is like you have the cards from the deck, the packs that you get. When we talk about limited, we're saying you're getting packs and you're getting the cards in the packs, and that's all you're going to get to play with. You're not going to get to bring your own cards, whereas like a standard premier event would you're constructing your deck.
Yeah. So it's 6 packs, so you get 6 leaders, 6 bases. Although bases you can use any base.
I think if you're kind of trying hard, I think like. Maybe before you go to these events, like if you're going to like the RQ, let's say you're trapped, like let's say you have an RQ here in New York City next set, and it's like limited and draft. I would probably wait until like 2 days before to see what the registration numbers look like, and then be like, all right, which one has less people so I can go into her? You know what I mean?
Game it a little bit, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
But
it's interesting.
It's definitely going to be cool to watch, I think. I'm very curious to see how it turns out. And what kind of rises to the top. Because, again, you're only having to deal with this set. So when we talk about limited, again, it's limited to this set. It's not other cards. We're not getting force throws. We're not getting the big hitters from the previous sets. So you kind of know, hey, these cards aren't going to be a problem. I can maybe take different lines.
Which, by the way...
Well, like...
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say, like for example, this set, there's not a lot of single target removal. There's like I think 4 cards in the set that do single target removal, if that.
Oh yeah.
So
it's still there though. So.
Yeah, it is still there, but again, it's like, but compare that to like set 1.
Jump to light speed had none.
Exactly. Like there. So when you compare it, like you're like, okay, well, I might be able to get away with, some things that I might not be able to get away with in a sealed environment, or sorry, in a constructed environment, or even in like a different set. It really is test your knowledge of this set.
So I will say, mixed. I think it's safe to say though, it's a mixed bag of response from the community in how the first set of things for season 1, sectors and regional qualifiers is for season 1, kind of rolling out. It's a little late kind of deal, right? Maybe not be happy with the choices of places or format types, but we're gonna go from there. Maybe we'll see you guys in one of those locations.
I hope so.
I hope so.
We'd love to meet you all.
Well, and there's going to be 3 more opportunities before the next set of Galactics that we'll get to see how this evolves.
Yeah. So let's move on to the last segment, which we've talked about a couple different formats, but we're going to talk about a format we have never talked about before on the podcast.
My most hated
and one of my favorites, if not my favorite, Twin Suns. We're going to talk about Twin Suns. So this was a recommendation from one of our listeners. So thank you for your feedback. We're making an episode about it. Let's talk about. I will
say, Twin Suns does not get enough like buzz or discussions.
Yeah,
and, like there's definitely not enough Twin Suns out there, and I think that hurts Twin Suns. Like, if you want to build it up, FFG wants to build it up. They need to promote it more. But they did say on the stream today it was the most played side event.
Yeah, so let's talk about what Twin Suns is. So before we get into the segment, let's talk about Twin Suns. Twin Suns is a 4-way game of Star Wars Unlimited. So there's 4 people in a pod. You have 2 leaders, 1 base. The leaders have to both be villainy or both be heroism. You can't mix and match those. It's a shared play space essentially. Each deck is right now 80 cards. You can only have 1 of each card. So like regular decks, like constructed, you can only have 3 copies. You have 3 copies. In Twin Suns, you can only have 1 card for it. Singleton card. And there are a variety of tokens like that are out there, like Blast, draw a card. There's an initiative token. So like they each do something different mechanically. Oh, and fun fact, you can't pass. You have to play. You can't say pass in Twin Suns. If it's your turn, you have to go. What's up, Rob?
Well, you can pass. It's just after all of the tokens have been claimed.
But then you go on to the next round anyway.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you could close it if you. Okay. Yeah, you can close out the game, but like you have to like play. Like generally speaking, you have to play. There's also bonuses for what happens when like you defeat the last player. So the game ends once the last player or once you defeat the first player. When you defeat the first player. Yes. So like once someone's defeated, right? Something happens, something special, and also the game's over at that point. Like, as in, like you don't have to defeat everybody in that sense. You have to defeat one person, and then you get like
the end game.
It triggers the end game where you find balance.
So you were doing a terrible job of explaining this.
I'm trying to keep it very basic because we're not actively playing it. But like
I guess
when someone gets defeated, essentially you get like one more round of play, and a bonus happens. Like you the person who defeated that person gets 10 extra health restored on their base, right? So like
10 or is it 5?
I thought it was 5.
Oh, was it 5? I thought it was 10. Sorry, 5.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm still relative. I don't have like hundreds of games on it, so to be fair, but it is a really fun game format. Which, by the way, shout out to Mark on our Discord. He has been trying to get people to play it at his locals. Padawan Unlimited is donating a silver pack, a Galactic Championship silver pack as prize support for their next Twin Suns event. Hopefully, they can get a pot of 8. You'll also get some other goodies. We'll put in a little package for y'all. So. Hope you guys enjoy.
I think he said he got 6 tonight.
He got 6 tonight. Hopefully, he can get 8 for his pod, and he's for 2 pods, which would be fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so Twin Suns. I gave the primer. Rob, you don't like this game?
Nah. So here's the thing. It's not that it's a bad format. So do not take anything I'm saying here to say like that. I think the format is terrible and no one should play it. I think if you enjoy this style of game, it's definitely for you. But for me, when I'm playing a card game, I don't really like politicking at the table, and that is what this is. This is probably closest akin to Commander and Magic, where there is a lot of politicking. You're kind of trying to convince people to attack other players instead of you because they're obviously the bigger threat, and like you don't need to worry about me. I'm not going to possibly stab you in the back. I'm going to stab you in the back. Like there's a lot of that goes on, and for me, I'd rather just play and have my skill determine whether or not I'm going to win versus I was able to manipulate the table well enough to win despite like I played like crap. I mean, I guess part of the game is like
Rob,
part of the game skill is politicking, but
do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Corey? Like it's like a lot of politicking.
I think Twin Suns is best when there's politicking, because if you're just gonna go in it and try to play it like a standard 2v2 or 1v1, I should say, then you might as well just do that. For me, the idea of what Twin Suns is trying to do is make it more about all the interactions you're having with the other players and making it more of a multiplayer game instead of just a 1v1 game. And so when it's at its best, I think there should be a lot of politicking.
Yeah, so politicking is not a requirement. To be fair, to be clear, it is not a requirement. It is highly encouraged culturally within the game. But you can play it without actually politicking, and people are just trying to make the best moves for what they need to make. Like that's actually a game where again, it's the culture of the table and the game, but like that determines if it's politicking or not. Because ideally, or like if you're playing to win, like if this was a competitive tournament, you have they're gonna play the best move that they got to play for themselves, like to win that game. But because it's a casual tier like format, people are more willing to be like, are we good? Are we good? Like
I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this.
We're okay, right? Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to do that, but again, like you do need to do that if you want to have any chance of winning. Because if you don't, then the other players are gonna be like, "Well, let's just get this guy out. He's a bummer. Let's kill him first, and then we'll see where we're at, and if we can make it through." Because what does happen, like you mentioned earlier, is when that first player gets eliminated, you finish that round, and then you do one more round, and that's it. And so if you don't set yourself up
with the highest health on your base,
right, you're going to be in a bad time. And that 5 extra health is a huge factor because what happens is that you get towards the end and it's like, who's taking that guy out who's got like 3 health left on his base? Like, who's going to take him out and get that extra boost to their health pool again? Because that's the win condition. So
yeah. And just to be clear, win condition is the player after the first player has been eliminated, the player who has the most health at the end of that next round is the winner.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, Data Vault as a base,
and Sentinel and Restore.
So some type of green, blue, maybe yellow combination is probably the best.
Oh no, this is what I'm gonna do. Right, Data Vault, Kylo.
Oh, that's pretty good. See, for me,
double Kylo. So you got super aggressive, it's a little control, and they got a lot of health.
On the stream today, they did Twin Suns, and they were talking about some combos. So, for example, if you have the Seasoned Fleet Lieutenant from Jump to Lightspeed, he gets an experience token every time someone draws a card. Right, and then if you and he's also not heroism. It's just a regular green command card. It's like a 1/4 for 2 costs. It's really weak. However, you stick that in a villainy deck, you get Gideon Hask like you play Gideon Hask, and if someone else is playing Yoda, Kylo, any draw, any draw mechanic leaders, man. Like that thing is gonna be mad huge, which is crazy, really cool combo out there.
Do it, and then you play Ventress. Oh, no, it's Ventress. So she's only pilot. She only gives grit on pilots. Is there anything that gives grit on something? Because like if you're pumping that up over and over and over again,
there's like an upgrade that gives grit.
There's a couple upgrades that give grit. You know what's to me a great leader combination? So you get 2 leaders, right? So not Django.
Boba.
It's Boba 4, the pilot Boba, and Cad Bane,
Cad Bane, yeah,
Those
because it's pings for days, baby.
that combination is so sick because you could just be throwing out a Greedo and you're doing 2 points of damage to the board just for existing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's huge.
Well, you still pick a target.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, but that's 2 damage. Like, you get to just do it.
You still have to take that as an opponent. You're like, I have to take
this
every time.
So like,
it's nuts.
So if you're talking about politicking, you're the table's best friend because you're like, all right, who wants some damage?
Right. The one that was really interesting in set 1 was the Krennic and Grand Inquisitor, because Grand Inquisitor deals damage to units to ready them, and Krennic gives +1 to damaged units, and that was always cool.
Yeah, the one that I still haven't figured out, so I'm not just hating on Twin Suns without having played it, FYI. So the one that I found interesting, and I don't know if it's still if there's not a better combination now, but at one point what I was doing is playing Chancellor Palpatine, so Palpatine from set 3, the one that does not actually have a flip.
Yeah,
Cody, or not Cody, Rex, because what the Chancellor Palpatine wants you, he's both, this is the other interesting, he's both heroic and villainy, but he starts on the heroic side, so he counts as a heroic leader. He wants you to kill a heroic thing to then flip to his villainy side, and then when he's on his villainy side, he produces a clone token and then like pings the board. He does 1 damage to every player when he activates his ability. So you want Rex, because Rex produces clone trooper tokens for Palpatine to then kill and then flip over and run this engine effectively, and you're damaging the entire board. It's really, really interesting.
So you can get away with villainy cards in your deck.
And you can run villainy in your deck, and you might not be off aspect when you're doing it.
With Anakin, baby, get the Anakin, get the hero villainy in that. Yeah.
The thing is like great. But like what I liked about Rex was that the fact that you can generate the tokens so that you always have something heroic to potentially sack to then flip, versus like you have to draw it and then you're having to give up something, whereas with Rex you're just giving up a token that you paid 2 for.
Yeah, green, yellow, blue, like you said, like especially if you try to get the new Anakin in there is pretty sick.
Oh god, yeah, get the new Anakin in there, gets that 6/6 guaranteed basically.
Yeah, pretty sick combination. I also like the theme stuff. So like if you do like a Leia with a Han type thing, and then you just have
Leia and Luke, get them twins.
And you can run Kylo, so you got to run it red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Twin Suns. There's so much room for creativity with that.
Sure.
And it has its own deck.
80 card deck is significant too.
Yeah.
Like, and the singleton thing is also really interesting because you're not just running 3 of the best in slot. You run out of those cards pretty quickly, and so like the one-offs that you do put in there, that normally you might not put in there, because they're just not as good as some other cards. Now you have these sort of side grade cards that make their way in, and then you also start to get these like kind of weird interactions with cards that you might not have seen otherwise, particularly because you're running 3 different colors potentially.
Yeah,
four technically, because you get heroic or villainy.
Yeah, I will say, this is Twin Suns is not because we're running on time. I will say that you have to remember to really look at your cards, right? Like what they do, because some cards are way more impactful in Twin Suns than they are in regular decks. So, like for example, Chaos of War, the double red 3-cost card, where it's like do that everyone to deal damage to however much people have in their hands. Player has in their hands. So like if you play that card on 3 and everyone is like taking 3, like you just ping the entire board down. It's wild, right? Or so think about
Merciless Contest. Merciless Contest hits the entire board too.
Merciless Contest? Yeah. So I'm just saying like things to think about, or like what's her face? Aiden with her ping heal on the flip, and if units die, she just like heals. Like
just heals the base.
Heals like everything. It's wild.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Last thing before.
Well, I was gonna say it's really the key to look for is cards that say each player, So each player
Or
means
each
every
base.
player or each base, right?
Or an arena.
Everything,
Sorry,
yeah,
go
or
ahead.
or an arena, exactly. Like
Yeah,
anything that hits it globally something. While normally you're just like, okay, well, it just hit my opponent in constructed. In Twin Suns, now this has a much bigger impact because you're hitting 3 other players potentially, or 4 if you're targeting your own arena.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it.
Sounds like we might have switched you over there to the
We'll see what
to the late
happens.
side there, Rob.
No,
Well,
but
who knows? We'll check in next week. Maybe Rob will be converted. Thank you guys, as always, for your time. Appreciate you. And until next time, may the force be with you.